First contact, Earth's deadly reputation. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Confederation of Sentient Species, GCSS, had long considered Earth a curiosity. From afar, they observed a planet teeming with life, its surface a patchwork of blues, greens, and swirling white clouds. But as the GCSS probes drew closer, they detected something alarming, a world of constant peril. Commander Zixna, a veteran explorer from the peaceful world of Harmonious Prime, stood before the GCS Council, her tentacles quivering with excitement and trepidation. "Esteemed council members," she began, her voice resonating through the chamber, "our latest findings on Earth are unsettling." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a planet racked by storms, quakes, and volcanic eruptions. Earth experiences extreme weather patterns, tectonic instability, and dangerous levels of solar radiation, Zixna explained. Yet, remarkably, life not only persists but thrives. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. Councillor Krev, a silicon-based entity from the crystalline world of Quartz Prime, spoke up. "How is this possible? Surely no intelligent life could evolve in such conditions." Zixna's tentacles rippled in a gesture of affirmation. "That's the most fascinating part, Councillor. Not only has intelligent life evolved, but it has become the dominant species on the planet." She manipulated the display, zooming in on Earth's surface to reveal sprawling cities, vast networks of transportation, and complex industrial centers. "Behold the humans," Zixna announced. "A species that has not just survived, but has built civilizations in defiance of their world's hostility." The council chamber erupted in a cacophony of exclamations and questions. How could a species evolve intelligence in an environment that seemed designed to destroy them? What kind of beings could these humans be, to not only endure but to thrive? As the commotion settled, the Grand Arbiter, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate vessel, spoke. "Commander Zixna, your findings are most intriguing. But tell us, have you made contact with these humans?" Zixna's tentacles drooped slightly. "Not yet, Grand Arbiter. Our probes have maintained a discreet distance to avoid detection. However, we have intercepted and decrypted some of their communications." With a gesture, Zixna brought up a new display showing snippets of human broadcasts, literature, and historical records. The council watched in fascination as scenes of human triumph and tragedy played out before them. "As you can see," Zixna continued, "humans are a study in contradictions. They wage war against each other with terrifying weapons, yet they also create breathtaking art and music. They pollute their environment, but also strive to protect it. They can be cruel, yet capable of great compassion." Councillor Krev's crystalline form shimmered with concern. "They sound unpredictable, dangerous even. Perhaps it would be wise to avoid contact altogether." The Grand Arbiter's vessel pulsed thoughtfully. "We cannot ignore a potentially sentient species, Councillor. Our mandate is to seek out and understand all forms of intelligent life in our galaxy." "But how can we safely approach such a volatile species?" another council member asked. Zixna's tentacles curled in what her species considered a smile. "I have a proposal," she said. "We've observed that humans are intensely curious about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. They've been broadcasting signals into space for decades, hoping for a response. I suggest we answer their call." The council chamber fell silent as the implications of Zixna's suggestion sank in. First contact with a potentially dangerous species was not to be taken lightly. "And how do you propose we proceed?" the Grand Arbiter asked. Zixna manipulated the holographic display once more, bringing up an image of a solitary human figure. "We've identified a human who might serve as an ideal point of contact. Dr. Samantha Chen, an astrophysicist at the SETI Institute on Earth. She's been at the forefront of humanity's search for extraterrestrial intelligence." The image zoomed in on Dr. Chen's face, showing a woman in her mid-30s with determination etched in her features. Dr. Chen has published numerous papers theorizing about the nature of potential alien civilizations. Her work shows a remarkable openness to possibilities beyond human experience. Councillor Krev's crystalline form vibrated skeptically. One human's openness does not guarantee the species' readiness for contact. True, Zixna conceded, but Dr. Chen's position and reputation could help ease humanity into the realization that they're not alone in the universe. We could begin with a simple signal, something that would catch her attention without alarming Earth's general population. The Grand Arbiter's vessel glowed brightly as it considered the proposal. It is a risk, it finally said, but one we must take if we are to fulfill our mission of universal understanding. Commander Zixna, you have the Council's permission to proceed with first contact, but exercise extreme caution. We do not yet know how these humans will react to our existence. Zixna bowed, her tentacles forming intricate patterns of gratitude and determination. Thank you, Grand Arbiter. I will personally oversee the operation. As the Council session adjourned, Zixna retreated to her ship in orbit around Harmonious Prime. She gazed out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, a blue planet spun through space, its inhabitants unaware of the monumental change about to occur in their understanding of the universe. Aboard her ship, Zixna began crafting the message that would change two civilizations forever. It had to be simple enough for humans to decode, yet complex enough to prove its extraterrestrial origin. After hours of work, she had it. A series of prime numbers, followed by the atomic numbers of the elements that made up DNA, and finally, a set of coordinates for a proposed meeting site on Earth's moon. With a mixture of anticipation and apprehension, Zixna transmitted the signal. Now, all she could do was wait and hope that Dr. Samantha Chen would be listening. On Earth, in the control room of the Allen Telescope Array, Dr. Chen sat bolt upright in her chair. For a moment, she thought she must be dreaming. The pattern on her screen couldn't be random noise. It was too structured, too intentional. "Oh my God," she whispered, her hands shaking as she reached for her phone. "We're not alone." As news of the signal spread through the scientific community and then to the world at large, humanity faced its greatest challenge yet. They had spent centuries wondering if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer. But were they ready for it? In the days that followed, Earth was abuzz with speculation and preparation. Governments convened emergency sessions, religious leaders sought to reconcile their teachings with this new reality, and ordinary people looked to the stars with a mixture of hope and fear. As for Dr. Chen, she found herself at the center of a whirlwind. Her expertise was suddenly in high demand as the world looked to her for guidance in this unprecedented situation. But even as she explained the signal's content to rapt audiences, a part of her mind was already racing ahead, imagining the face-to-face meeting to come. Little did she know that Commander Zixna was doing the same, pondering the enigma of humanity and the perilous world they called home. As their two species moved inexorably toward their historic encounter, the fate of both hung in the balance. The stage was set for a meeting that would either usher in a new era of interstellar cooperation or plunge the galaxy into conflict. The countdown to first contact had begun, the Galactic Exchange Program. As Earth grappled with the reality of extraterrestrial contact, the Galactic Confederation of Sentient Species, GCSS, was busy preparing for their first face-to-face encounter with humans. Commander Zixna, the architect of this historic meeting, paced nervously in her quarters aboard the GCS flagship, the Stellar Envoy. Commander, her second-in-command, Lieutenant Krull, a methane-breathing entity from the gas giant Jovis, burbled through his translator. "The human delegation has arrived at the lunar base. They're ready to begin." Zixna's tentacles rippled with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Very well, Lieutenant. Let's make history." The lunar meeting was a whirlwind of careful diplomacy, cultural exchange, and scientific revelation. Dr. Samantha Chen led the human delegation, her eyes wide with wonder as she shook hands, or tentacles, with beings she had only dreamed about. The GCSS representatives, for their part, were equally fascinated by the humans' resilience and adaptability. As the initial meetings concluded, both sides agreed that further exchange was necessary. Thus, the Galactic Exchange Program was born, an initiative that would see representatives from Earth and various GCSS worlds living and studying on each other's planets. Back on Earth, the selection process for the first human participants was intense. Thousands applied, but only a handful would be chosen to represent humanity among the stars. Among the selected was Marco Alvarez, a climatologist from Brazil with a knack for adapting to extreme environments. Marco stood before the selection committee, his heart pounding. "Dr. Alvarez," one of the panelists began, "you've been chosen for a unique assignment. You'll be studying on Pyroclast, a volcanic world that makes Earth's most active regions look tame by comparison. Are you prepared for this challenge?" Marco's eyes lit up with determination. "Absolutely. I spent years studying volcanoes on Earth. The chance to experience an entire world shaped by volcanic activity, it's a dream come true." As Marco and the other chosen humans prepared for their journey, Earth was abuzz with excitement and trepidation. News channels ran constant coverage of the exchange program, speculating on what the human representatives might discover. Meanwhile, on various GCS worlds, similar selections were taking place. On the crystalline planet of Quartz Prime, a young scholar named Xero was chosen to study on Earth. Her faceted body sparkled with anticipation as she imagined experiencing the diverse environments of the notorious Deathworld. The day of departure arrived. A crowd of thousands gathered at the newly constructed spaceport to bid farewell to Earth's first Galactic Exchange students. Marco, along with his fellow travelers, boarded the sleek GCSS shuttle, their faces a mixture of excitement and nervousness. As the shuttle lifted off, Marco pressed his face to the window, watching his home planet shrink into the distance. "Goodbye, Earth," he whispered. "I'll make you proud." The journey to Pyroclast took several weeks, even with the GCSS advanced faster-than-light technology. Marco spent the time studying everything he could about his destination and getting to know his alien crewmates. Finally, the red-orange orb of Pyroclast came into view. From orbit, the planet looked like a swirling inferno, its surface a constantly shifting map of lava flows and ash clouds. "It's beautiful," Marco breathed, earning strange looks from his companions who viewed Pyroclast as a hardship posting. As they descended through the turbulent atmosphere, Marco's scientific mind went into overdrive. He catalogued the unique atmospheric composition, the intense gravitational forces, and the extreme temperature gradients. By the time they landed at the heavily shielded research station, he was bursting with questions. The station's commander, a being that looked like a walking obsidian sculpture, greeted them. "Welcome to Pyroclast," it said, its voice sounding like grinding stones. "I hope you're prepared for a hot time." Marco grinned at the unexpected humor. "I can't wait to get started," he replied enthusiastically. Over the next few months, Marco threw himself into his studies. He marveled at Pyroclast's unique geology, where entire continents could be reshaped in a matter of days. He developed new theories about planetary formation and volcanic activity that challenged both Earth and GCSS scientific paradigms. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. The intense gravity and constant seismic activity took a toll on Marco's body. There were days when he could barely move, his muscles screaming in protest. Yet he persevered, driven by his insatiable curiosity and the knowledge that he was pushing the boundaries of human experience. One day, as Marco was analyzing data from a particularly violent eruption, alarms blared throughout the station. "Imminent magma breach in Sector 7, a voice announced. "All personnel evacuate immediately." Marco's heart raced as he joined the stream of beings rushing towards the emergency shelters. But as he ran, he noticed something on one of the monitoring screens, a pattern in the lava flow that shouldn't be possible according to their current models. Making a split-second decision, Marco broke away from the group and raced towards the observation deck in Sector 7. He could hear shouts behind him, but he tuned them out, focused solely on reaching the deck before it was engulfed. He burst onto the deck just as the wall of lava crested the horizon. The heat was intense, even through the station's shielding. Marco's eyes watered as he struggled to focus on the flow patterns. Come on, he muttered, frantically inputting data into his tablet. The deck began to shake violently, warning klaxons blaring in his ears. Just as the lava was about to hit the station's outer shields, Marco saw it, the crucial piece of data he needed. He turned to run, but a violent tremor knocked him off his feet. As he struggled to stand, he saw a crack forming in the deck's floor, glowing red-hot. Panic threatened to overwhelm him, but Marco forced himself to focus. He thought of the harsh training he'd undergone, the countless times he'd pushed his body to its limits in Earth's most extreme environments. With a surge of adrenaline, he leaped over the widening crack and sprinted for the exit. He made it to the shelter just as the doors were closing, collapsing into the arms of a very angry station commander. "Are all humans this recklessly curious?" the commander demanded. Despite his exhaustion, Marco managed a weak smile. "Only the best ones," he quipped. As the danger passed and the station's systems worked to mitigate the damage, Marco shared his findings. The data he'd risked his life to collect provided crucial insights into pyroclast volcanic patterns, potentially revolutionizing their understanding of the planet's geology. The incident made waves throughout the GCSS. Many were shocked by Marco's apparent disregard for his own safety, but others were impressed by his dedication to scientific discovery. It sparked debates about the unique traits that humans brought to the galactic community, their adaptability, their curiosity, and their willingness to take risks in the pursuit of knowledge. Meanwhile, on Earth, Talera was having her own adventures. The crystalline being found Earth's diverse environments both terrifying and exhilarating. She marveled at the planet's oceans, shuddered at its thunderstorms, and was left speechless by the beauty of its forests. But it was humanity itself that fascinated her the most. Zlura spent hours observing human interactions, trying to understand their complex emotions and social structures. She was particularly intrigued by their ability to form deep bonds with each other and even with members of other species. One day, while visiting a wildlife sanctuary, Zlura watched in amazement as a caretaker bottle-fed an orphaned elephant calf. The tenderness of the interaction, the clear affection between two entirely different species, touched something deep within her crystalline core. "How do you do it?" she asked the caretaker afterward. "How do you form such connections with beings so different from yourself?" The caretaker smiled. "Empathy," she replied simply. "We try to understand and feel what others are feeling, even if they're very different from us. It's not always easy, but it's what makes us human." This concept of empathy fascinated Talera. It was something her own species, with their logical, crystalline minds, often struggled with. She began to wonder if this ability, to connect with and understand others on an emotional level, might be humanity's greatest strength. As the first phase of the Galactic Exchange program drew to a close, both humans and aliens had learned a great deal. The GCSS had gained new respect for humanity's resilience and innovative thinking, while humans had their horizons expanded beyond their wildest dreams. But as the participants prepared to return home, tensions were brewing on the galactic stage. Not all species were happy about humanity's rapid integration into the galactic community. Some viewed humans as unpredictable and potentially dangerous, a sentiment that was growing among certain factions of the GCSS. As Marco boarded the ship that would take him back to Earth, he was unaware of the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. He was eager to share his discoveries, to push for further cooperation between Earth and the GCSS. Little did he know that his adventures on Pyroclast were just the beginning of a much larger, more perilous journey, one that would test humanity's place in the galaxy and challenge the very foundations of the Galactic Confederation itself. The stage was set for the next phase of humanity's galactic adventure, filled with promise, peril, and the unknown. Surviving Earth's extremes. As Marco Alvarez's ship descended through Earth's atmosphere, he felt a strange mix of familiarity and alienation. After months on the volcanic world of Pyroplast, Earth seemed almost serene. Yet, he knew better than most that his home planet harbored its own set of challenges. Meanwhile, Sarah, the crystalline being from Quartz Prime, was preparing for the next phase of her Earth studies. She had spent the initial months observing human society in controlled environments. Now, she was ready to experience some of Earth's more extreme conditions firsthand. The Galactic Exchange program had entered its second phase. With the initial cultural exchanges complete, the focus now shifted to a deeper understanding of each world's unique challenges. For the aliens studying Earth, this meant confronting the very conditions that had earned the planet its Deathworld reputation. Dr. Samantha Chen, now the head of Earth's Interstellar Relations Department, addressed the gathered alien researchers. "You've seen our cities, our technology, our social structures. Now, it's time to understand why we developed the way we did. You'll be joining human experts in some of Earth's most challenging environments." Sarah felt a ripple of excitement course through her crystalline form. She had been assigned to a team heading to the Amazon rainforest, one of Earth's most biodiverse and unpredictable environments. As the team helicopter approached the dense canopy of the Amazon, Axira marveled at the sea of green below. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, a seasoned botanist, smiled at Thyra's wonder. "It's beautiful, isn't it? But don't let its beauty fool you. The Amazon can be as dangerous as it is magnificent." The team set up camp in a small clearing. As night fell, the forest came alive with a cacophony of sounds, the calls of countless species, each fighting for survival in this complex ecosystem. Sarah found it overwhelming. On Quartz Prime, nights were silent, the crystalline beings communicating through light pulses. Here, the constant noise and movement set her on edge. "How do you sleep with all this noise?" she asked Dr. Rodriguez. The botanist chuckled. "You get used to it. In fact, many of us find it soothing. It's the sound of life, Axira. Constant, persistent life." Over the next few weeks, Axira learned firsthand why Earth was considered so dangerous. She witnessed torrential rainstorms that turned the forest floor into a muddy quagmire. She encountered insects that could deliver painful stings, mammals with sharp claws and teeth, and plants with toxins that could kill in minutes. But more than the dangers, Kyra was struck by the resilience of life in the Amazon. Every niche was filled, every resource utilized. It was a constant dance of adaptation and survival. One day, as they were collecting plant samples, Dr. Rodriguez suddenly froze. "Don't move," she whispered to Axira. Slowly, she pointed to a spot just ahead of them. Axira's crystalline eyes focused on the location, and she saw it, a jaguar, its spotted coat blending perfectly with the dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy. The big cat watched them intently, muscles coiled and ready to spring. Dr. Rodriguez slowly reached for her tranquilizer gun, but before she could grasp it, the jaguar pounced. Axira, acting on instinct, emitted a brilliant flash of light from her crystalline body. The sudden burst of illumination startled the jaguar mid-leap. It landed awkwardly, giving Dr. Rodriguez enough time to fire the tranquilizer dart. The big cat stumbled, then collapsed into a peaceful slumber. As their hearts raced from the close call, Dr. Rodriguez turned to Axira with newfound respect. "Quick thinking," she said. "You may have just saved both our lives." Stellaris' form shimmered with a mix of fear and exhilaration. I've never been in danger like that before," she admitted. "On my world, we don't have predators. We don't even have the concept of one being eating another." Dr. Rodriguez nodded understanding. "That's the reality of Earth, Axira. Life here is a constant struggle for survival. It's what drove our evolution, shaped our societies, and ultimately prepared us for the challenges of space." As they made their way back to camp, Axira found herself pondering the implications of what she'd experienced. The constant threat of danger, the need for quick thinking and adaptation, these were integral parts of the human experience. It began to dawn on her why humans were so resilient, so innovative, so alive. Meanwhile, in another part of the world, Marco Alvarez was leading a team of alien researchers through the harsh landscape of the Atacama Desert. After his experiences on Pyroclast, Marco had gained a reputation as someone who could guide others through extreme environments. "Welcome to the driest non-polar desert on Earth," Marco announced to his team, which included beings from water worlds, gas giants, and even a sentient fungal colony. "Some areas here haven't seen rainfall in centuries." The alien researchers were fascinated by the seemingly barren landscape, but Marco showed them the hidden life, extremophile bacteria in the soil, hardy plants that had adapted to survive with minimal water, and animals that had evolved unique ways to extract moisture from their environment. "Life finds a way," Marco explained, echoing the words of an old Earth scientist. "No matter how harsh the conditions, if there's even the slightest possibility for life, it will take hold and thrive." As they traveled deeper into the desert, disaster struck. A sudden sandstorm, more severe than any Marco had ever encountered, engulfed the team. Visibility dropped to zero, and the howling wind threatened to separate them. Marco's mind raced. The storm was too strong for their vehicles to safely navigate. They needed shelter fast. Then he remembered there was an old mining cave system nearby. If they could reach it, they'd be safe from the storm. "Everyone, link up," Marco shouted over the roaring wind. "We're going to form a human, sentient chain. Don't let go, no matter what." With Marco in the lead, the bizarre parade of alien beings struggled through the sandstorm. The fungal colony, unused to such dry conditions, was starting to desiccate. Without hesitation, Marco removed his outer jacket and wrapped it around the fungal beings, sacrificing his own protection. After what seemed like hours of battling the elements, they finally reached the cave entrance. As they huddled inside, catching their breath and checking for injuries, Marco's alien companions looked at him with a new perspective. "You risked your own safety for us," the fungal being said, its spores glowing with gratitude. "Why?" Marco smiled tiredly. "Because that's what we do. Humanity has survived this long by looking out for each other, by facing challenges together. We're stronger as a group than we are alone." As the storm raged outside, Marco shared stories of other human triumphs over adversity. Tales of mountain climbers battling blizzards, of sailors surviving months adrift at sea, of explorers pushing the boundaries of human endurance in the harshest environments. The alien researchers listened in awe, beginning to understand the crucible that had forged humanity's resilience and determination. Back in the Amazon, Vetura was having a revelation of her own. As she watched Dr. Rodriguez skillfully navigate the dangers of the rainforest, she realized that humans didn't just survive in these conditions, they thrived in them. They had an almost primal joy in facing and overcoming challenges. One evening, as they sat around the campfire, Zaira asked, "Dr. Rodriguez, don't you ever wish for an easier life, a safer world?" The botanist thought for a moment before responding. "Sometimes, perhaps. But then I remember that it's these very challenges that have made us who we are. Our intelligence, our creativity, our drive to explore and understand, they all come from our need to survive and adapt." She gestured to the dark forest around them. "This isn't just our environment, Axara. It's our teacher, our motivator. It's what pushes us to be better, to reach further, to dream bigger." As the Earth phase of the Galactic Exchange program drew to a close, the alien researchers gathered to share their experiences. Tales of close calls, of awe-inspiring natural phenomena, and of human ingenuity in the face of adversity filled the conference hall. Dr. Samantha Chen listened to the reports with a mixture of pride and concern. Pride in how her fellow humans had risen to the challenge of showcasing Earth's unique characteristics. Concern because she knew that not everyone in the galactic community would view humanity's adaptability and resilience as positive traits. As the conference concluded, Dr. Chen took the stage. "Thank you all for your dedication and your willingness to experience our world firsthand. I hope you've gained a deeper understanding of humanity and the forces that shaped us." She paused, her expression growing serious. "But remember what you've seen here. Our ability to adapt, to survive, to thrive in the face of constant challenges. It's not just our past, it's our present, and it will be our future as we step out into the galaxy." The alien researchers murmured among themselves, the implications of her words sinking in. Humanity wasn't just a curiosity or a potential ally. They were a force to be reckoned with, a species forged in the fires of a world that constantly tried to kill them. As the conference dispersed, Sarah approached Dr. Chen. "I think I understand now," she said, her crystalline form shimmering with newfound respect. "Earth isn't a death world. It's a life world, the ultimate training ground for a species destined for the stars." Dr. Chen nodded, a small smile playing on her lips. "The question is, I've heard that are they ready for us?" As the alien researchers prepared to return to their homeworlds, each carried with them a new perspective on humanity. They had come to study a death world and its inhabitants. They left with an understanding of a species uniquely prepared for the challenges of a vast and often hostile universe. But as ships departed Earth's orbit, none could shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Humanity had proven itself on its homeworld. Now, the true test awaited among the stars, uncovering human potential. As the Galactic Exchange program entered its third phase, the focus shifted from Earth to the broader galactic stage. Humanity, having hosted alien researchers and proven their adaptability on their home planet, was now ready to make its mark on the interstellar community. Dr. Samantha Chen stood before the United Nations Galactic Affairs Committee, her face etched with determination. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, "we stand at a crossroads. Our experiences with the Galactic Confederation have opened up unprecedented opportunities for humanity. It's time we show the galaxy what we're truly capable of." The committee listened intently as Dr. Chen outlined her ambitious proposal, a series of joint human-alien expeditions to some of the most challenging and unexplored regions of the galaxy. These missions would not only further scientific understanding, but also showcase humanity's unique problem-solving abilities and resilience. Meanwhile, in the GCS headquarters, Commander Zixner was facing her own challenges. The reports from Earth had caused quite a stir among the member species. Some were fascinated by humanity's potential, while others were wary of their unpredictable nature. "These humans," growled Councillor Krev, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation, "they treat mortal peril as if it were a game. How can we trust such a species with advanced galactic technology?" Zixner's tentacles rippled thoughtfully. "Councillor, it's precisely this ability to thrive in adversity that makes humans valuable allies. Think of the challenges we face in our exploration efforts. The humans' adaptability could be the key to overcoming them." After much debate, the GCSS agreed to Dr. Chen's proposal, albeit with some restrictions. They would allow human participation in select expeditions under close supervision. The first joint mission was set, an exploration of the gas giant Nimbus in the Vorlex system. Its turbulent atmosphere and extreme pressure gradients had thwarted previous GCSS attempts to study its lower layers. The human team, led by Marco Alvarez, would join forces with a diverse group of alien scientists. As their ship approached Nimbus, Marco felt a familiar thrill of excitement. The swirling storms on the planet's surface dwarfed anything he'd seen on Earth or even pyroclast. "It's beautiful," he murmured, earning nods of agreement from some of his alien colleagues. The mission's objective was to deploy a series of probes into Nimbus's atmosphere, gathering data from levels that had previously been unreachable. The challenge lay in navigating the violent storm systems and withstanding the crushing pressure. As they began their descent, the ship was buffeted by powerful winds. Alarms blared as the hull creaked under the strain. The alien pilot, a being evolved for space travel, struggled to maintain control. Marco's mind raced, recalling his experiences with Earth's hurricanes and the violent storms of pyroclast. The storm's not uniform, he realized. There are calmer areas, like the eye of a hurricane. If we can identify and navigate through them, we can reach the lower atmosphere safely. He shared his insight with the team, and together they developed a new flight plan. It was risky, requiring split-second decisions and constant adjustments, but it was their best chance. As they descended deeper into Nimbus's atmosphere, following Marco's guidance, the alien crew watched in amazement. The humans' intuition, combined with the advanced technology of the ship, allowed them to dance through the storm systems with an agility they had never thought possible. They reached their target depth, deployed the probes, and began collecting data that would revolutionize their understanding of gas giants. As they ascended back through the turbulent atmosphere, a cheer went up through the ship. They had accomplished in one mission what years of previous attempts had failed to achieve. News of the Nimbus mission's success spread quickly through the galactic community. Humans, it seemed, had a knack for turning deadly environments into scientific gold mines. Requests for human participation in other challenging expeditions began to pour in. Back on Earth, Treacherous had taken on a new role as a liaison between her homeworld and humanity. She was particularly interested in human medical advancements, especially their ability to recover from injuries that would be fatal to many alien species. During a visit to a cutting-edge medical research facility, Treacherous witnessed something extraordinary. A team of doctors was using experimental nanobots to repair severe nerve damage in a patient paralyzed by a spinal injury. To Treacherous' amazement, the patient began to regain movement in their limbs. "This is incredible," Treacherous exclaimed, her crystalline form shimmering with excitement. "On my world, such an injury would be permanent. How did you develop this technology?" Dr. Aisha Patel, the lead researcher, smiled. "Necessity is the mother of invention, as we say. Humans have always pushed the boundaries of medical science because we refuse to accept limitations. Every injury, every disease, is just another problem to solve." Treacherous realized that this drive to overcome physical limitations was yet another manifestation of humanity's resilience. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about thriving, about constantly improving their condition. As Treacherous shared these medical advancements with her homeworld, it sparked a wave of collaborative research projects. The combination of human innovation and alien perspectives led to breakthroughs that neither species could have achieved alone. However, not all of humanity's traits were viewed positively by the galactic community. Their tendency to take risks, their sometimes aggressive problem-solving approaches, and their rapid technological advancement began to worry some GCS members. Commander Zixna found herself increasingly playing the role of mediator, trying to balance the excitement of discovery with the caution urged by more conservative species. During a particularly heated council session, Zixna made an impassioned speech. "Yes, humans are different. Yes, they can be unpredictable. But isn't that diversity what the Galactic Confederation stands for? We've always believed that each species brings unique strengths to our community. Humanity's strength lies in its adaptability, its resilience, and its unyielding spirit of exploration." Her words had an impact, but doubts remained. The Council decided to accelerate the integration of humans into galactic society, hoping that increased exposure would help smooth out what they saw as humanity's rough edges. This decision led to the establishment of the first human embassy on Harmonious Prime, the GCS's capital world. Dr. Samantha Chen was appointed as Earth's first galactic ambassador, a role she approached with both excitement and trepidation. As she stood before the GCS assembly to present her credentials, Dr. Chen felt the weight of her responsibility. "Distinguished members of the Galactic Confederation," she began, "I stand before you not just as a representative of Earth, but as a symbol of humanity's commitment to galactic cooperation and progress." She went on to outline humanity's vision for their role in the galactic community as explorers, innovators, and problem solvers. She acknowledged their shortcomings, but emphasized their willingness to learn and grow. "We may be newcomers to the galactic stage," she concluded, but we bring with us millennia of experience in overcoming challenges, in pushing boundaries, and in imagining possibilities but others see only obstacles. We look forward to working alongside you all as we reach for the stars." Her speech was met with a mix of applause and thoughtful silence. Humanity had made its stance clear. They were here to stay, and they were eager to make their mark on the galaxy. As the human presence in galactic affairs grew, so did their influence. Human scientists joined research teams across the Confederation, bringing fresh perspectives to age-old problems. Human diplomats helped negotiate treaties between species that had been at odds for centuries, their experience with Earth's complex international relations proving invaluable. Marco Alvarez, now a respected xenogeologist, led expeditions to worlds once thought too dangerous to explore. His team's discoveries reshaped the understanding of planetary formation and evolution. Having become deeply invested in human culture, started a cultural exchange program that brought alien artists, philosophers, and thinkers to Earth. The resulting cross-pollination of ideas led to a renaissance of creativity across multiple worlds. But as humanity's star rose in the galactic community, not everyone was celebrating. In the shadows of distant worlds, those who feared change and resented the newcomers began to whisper. They saw in humanity not potential allies, but potential conquerors, a species forged in the crucible of a Deathworld now unleashed upon an unsuspecting galaxy. Unbeknownst to the GCSS or Earth's leaders, these dissenters were organizing. They called themselves the Galactic Purists, and they were determined to put humanity back in what they saw as its rightful place, isolated on their dangerous little world. As Dr. Chen worked tirelessly to strengthen Earth's position in the galactic community, as Marco explored new worlds, as Syra built bridges between cultures, a storm was brewing. The purists were gathering strength, resources, and allies. They were preparing to strike a blow that would shake the foundations of the Galactic Confederation and test humanity's resolve like never before. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine not just humanity's place in the stars, but the very future of galactic civilization. As the unseen threat grew, Earth's greatest strengths, its adaptability, its resilience, its unyielding spirit, would soon be put to the ultimate test. The alien threat. The Galactic Confederation's Grand Assembly Hall buzzed with tension. Representatives from hundreds of worlds had gathered for an emergency session, their varied forms creating a tapestry of alien life. At the center of it all stood Dr. Samantha Chen, Earth's ambassador, her face etched with concern as she addressed the assembly. "Distinguished delegates," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation, "we face an unprecedented crisis. The recent attacks on our outposts in the Orion Arm were not isolated incidents, but part of a coordinated assault by a group calling themselves the Galactic Purists." Murmurs rippled through the crowd as holographic displays flickered to life, showing the devastation wrought on multiple worlds. Space stations reduced to debris fields, colonies left in ruins, supply lines disrupted. The Purists had struck swiftly and mercilessly. Commander Zixna, her tentacles coiled tightly in distress, took the floor. "Our intelligence suggests that the Purists are a coalition of extremists from various species. They view humanity's rapid integration into galactic society as a threat to the established order. Their goal appears to be the complete isolation of Earth and the removal of human influence from galactic affairs." The assembly erupted into chaos. Some delegates called for immediate military action, others for negotiations, while a few even suggested acquiescing to the Purists' demands. Amidst the uproar, a calm voice cut through the noise. It was Syra, now serving as the cultural attaché to Earth. "Friends, colleagues, let us not allow fear to cloud our judgment. The very diversity that the Purists fear is our greatest strength. We must stand united against this threat." As the GCSS debated its response, Earth was mobilizing. The attacks had awakened a fierce determination in humanity. People from all nations volunteered for the newly formed Galactic Defense Force, ready to protect not just their homeworld, but all their allies in the Confederation. Marco Alvarez found himself appointed as the head of a special task force. His mission: to use his expertise in extreme environments to predict and counter the Purists' next moves. "They've been striking at our most vulnerable outposts," he explained to his diverse team of human and alien experts. "But we can use that against them. We'll fortify these locations, turning them into traps." Meanwhile, Dr. Chen worked tirelessly on the diplomatic front. She knew that military might alone wouldn't be enough to counter the Purist threat. They needed to win hearts and minds across the galaxy. In a bold move, she proposed a series of open forums on worlds across the Confederation. "Let the people see us, hear us, understand us," she argued to the GCS Council. "The Purists thrive on fear and misinformation. We'll counter it with transparency and dialogue." As these efforts unfolded, the Purists struck again. This time, their target was Harmony Station, a crucial hub for interstellar trade and diplomacy. The station's defenses, enhanced by Marco's team, held off the initial assault, but it was clear they were outnumbered and outgunned. Captain Liara Jones, a decorated veteran of Earth's space forces, led the defense of Harmony Station. As Purist ships swarmed around them, she rallied her crew with words that would soon become legend across the galaxy. "We stand here not just for Earth, but for every world that believes in unity, in progress, in the power of diversity." Her voice rang out across the comms. "We are the children of a world that tried to kill us every day, and we not only survived, we thrived. Now we will use every lesson our harsh world taught us to protect our galactic family." The battle that followed was fierce. Captain Jones employed unorthodox tactics, using the station's modular structure to create unpredictable defense patterns. Her alien crew members, inspired by her words and actions, fought with a fervor that matched the humans. Just as it seemed the station might fall, reinforcements arrived, a joint fleet of GCSS and Earth ships. The tide of battle turned, and the Purist forces were routed. The successful defense of Harmony Station became a rallying point for the anti-Purist movement. Across the galaxy, beings of all species came together in solidarity. Dr. Chen's open forums, once sparsely attended, were now packed with individuals eager to learn more about humanity and show their support. But the Purists were far from defeated. Their leader, a shadowy figure known only as the Arbiter, broadcast a chilling message across all galactic channels. "Citizens of the true galactic order," the distorted voice intoned, "do not be fooled by the honeyed words of the human usurpers and their misguided allies. They are a plague upon our civilized galaxy, a cancer that must be excised. We offer one chance for peace, the complete quarantine of Earth, and the removal of all human presence from Confederation space. Refuse and face annihilation." The ultimatum sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Some worlds, fearing the Purists' wrath, began to waver in their support of Earth. The GCSS Council was divided, with a vocal minority arguing for accepting the Purists' terms to avoid further conflict. In this dark hour, an unlikely hero emerged. Fexlira, the once timid crystalline being who had first studied on Earth, requested to address the GCSS General Assembly. As she took the floor, her crystalline form pulsing with determination, a hush fell over the crowd. "I stand before you not just as a representative of Quartz Prime, but as someone whose life was transformed by interaction with humans," she began. "When I first arrived on Earth, I saw only danger and chaos. But I learned that it was precisely these challenges that forged humanity's greatest strengths, their adaptability, their creativity, their unbreakable spirit." Her voice grew stronger as she continued. "The Purists would have us believe that humanity is a threat to our way of life. I say they are our greatest hope for the future. In the short time they've been part of our community, humans have pushed the boundaries of our scientific understanding, bridged cultural divides, and shown us new ways to approach age-old problems." Sarah's impassioned speech struck a chord with many. Support for Earth and opposition to the Purists' demands grew. The GCSS voted overwhelmingly to reject the ultimatum and to commit its full resources to combating the purist threat. As the galaxy braced for full-scale war, humanity's ingenuity came to the forefront. Marco Alvarez and his team developed new shield technologies inspired by the resilient life forms of Earth's most extreme environments. Dr. Chen's diplomatic efforts bore fruit in the form of an unprecedented alliance of species united in their stand against the purists. The conflict that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The purists, with their fanatical dedication and vast resources, proved to be a formidable enemy. Battles raged across star systems, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Throughout it all, humanity's unique experiences on their Deathworld homeworld proved invaluable. Human strategies, forged in millennia of conflict and survival against the odds, brought a new dimension to galactic warfare. Their ability to adapt quickly to changing situations and their refusal to accept defeat turned the tide in many crucial battles. One of the war's turning points came during the Battle of the Cerulean Nebula. A massive purist fleet had pinned down a key GCS battle group. The situation seemed hopeless until a small team of human and alien special forces, led by Marco Alvarez, infiltrated the purist flagship. Using techniques honed in Earth's most hostile environments, the team navigated the ship's hazardous interior. They reached the bridge and managed to disable the flagship's defenses, allowing the GCSS fleet to turn the tables and win the day. As the war progressed, Dr. Chen worked tirelessly to maintain the coalition and to reach out to worlds under purist control. Her efforts led to a series of uprisings that significantly weakened the purist hold on several key systems. But the conflict was far from over. The purists, driven by their zealotry, seemed willing to go to any lengths to achieve their goals. Intelligence reports suggested they were developing a superweapon capable of rendering entire planets uninhabitable, a threat that struck fear into the hearts of even the most stalwart GCS members. As the galactic civilization teetered on the brink, with the specter of unimaginable destruction looming, all eyes turned once again to humanity. The species that had evolved on a world that seemed designed to kill them, the newcomers who had already changed the face of galactic society, now faced their greatest challenge yet. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance, and the lessons learned on one small blue Deathworld might just be the key to salvation. Humanity's stand. The war against the galactic purists had reached a critical juncture. Reports of the purists' superweapon, capable of rendering entire planets uninhabitable, sent shockwaves through the Galactic Confederation. Fear gripped even the most courageous hearts as the possibility of losing their homeworlds became a terrifying reality. In a secure chamber deep within the GCS headquarters, Earth's representatives gathered with key allies to formulate a response. Dr. Samantha Chen, her face etched with determination, addressed the group. "We've confirmed the existence of the purists' planet killer," she said, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Our intelligence suggests it's being constructed in the Omega Nebula, hidden within a dense field of gravitational anomalies." Marco Alvarez, now a decorated commander in the joint GCSS human fleet, spoke up. "A direct assault would be suicide. The nebula's gravitational distortions would tear our ships apart before we could even reach the weapon." A heavy silence fell over the room. The challenge seemed insurmountable. Then, unexpectedly, Axelera's crystalline form pulsed with inspiration. "What if we don't go through the nebula?" she asked. "What if we go under it?" All eyes turned to her, puzzled. Axelera explained her idea, drawing on knowledge she had gained during her time on Earth. "On your world, I learned about sea creatures that navigate treacherous waters by diving deep, where currents are calmer. What if we applied that principle here?" Marco's eyes lit up with understanding. A subspace corridor. If we can create a stable pathway through subspace, we could bypass the nebula's defenses entirely. The room buzzed with excitement as the implications sank in. It was a daring plan, one that combined alien technology with concepts inspired by Earth's oceans. But it was also incredibly risky. No one had ever attempted to create a subspace corridor of this magnitude before. Dr. Chen looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each being present. "This may be our only chance," she said sullenly. "Are we in agreement?" The response was unanimous. The plan was approved, and preparation began immediately. Over the next few weeks, a special task force worked around the clock to bring the plan to fruition. Human scientists collaborated with the brightest minds from across the Confederation, pushing the boundaries of subspace theory. Engineers from a dozen worlds came together to modify a fleet of ships for the perilous journey. As the day of the mission approached, tension mounted. The fate of countless worlds rested on the success of this audacious plan. Captain Liara Jones, the hero of Harmony Station, was chosen to lead the assault team. As she addressed her crew, a diverse mix of humans and aliens, her words resonated with the spirit that had carried humanity to the stars. "We stand at the precipice of history," she began, her voice carrying through the ship's intercom. "Before us lies a challenge unlike any we faced before. But remember this, we are the children of Earth, a world that forged us in fire and storm. We faced extinction 1,000 times and emerged stronger each time. Now, we bring that strength to bear for our galactic family." Her words stirred something deep within every being present, human and alien alike. They were no longer separate species but a united force, ready to face the impossible. The fleet entered subspace, and for a terrifying moment, it seemed as if the fabric of reality itself was tearing apart around them. But the corridor held, a testament to the ingenuity of its creators. They emerged deep within the Omega Nebula, catching the purest forces completely by surprise. The battle that ensued was fierce, with both sides fighting with the desperation of those who know everything is at stake. Captain Jones led a strike team to infiltrate the superweapon, while the rest of the fleet engaged the purest ships. As they fought their way through the massive structure, they encountered defenses that seemed designed to counter every known combat technique in the galaxy. But humans, with their history of adapting to overcome challenges, had an ace up their sleeve. They employed unconventional tactics, combining techniques from Earth's martial arts with alien technologies in ways the purists could never have anticipated. Meanwhile, in the space battle outside, Marco Alvarez coordinated the fleet's movements. Drawing on his experiences in Earth's most extreme environments, he guided the ships through the nebula's gravitational maze, turning the treacherous conditions to their advantage. The tide of battle began to turn. The purists, for all their advanced technology and fanatical dedication, found themselves outmaneuvered by the sheer unpredictability of their opponents. As Captain Jones and her team reached the heart of the superweapon, they came face to face with the Arbiter, the mysterious leader of the purists. The Arbiter, a being of shadow and malevolence, sneered at the human captain. "You think you can stop the inevitable," the Arbiter hissed. "Your kind is a blight upon the galaxy, a chaos that must be expunged." Liara stood her ground, unflinching. "We are not chaos," she replied, her voice steady. "We are adaptation. We are resilience. We are the force that turns adversity into strength, and today we are your reckoning." The final confrontation was brutal and swift. The Arbiter, for all their power, had never faced a force like humanity. Beings who had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day, who saw impossible odds as just another challenge to overcome. With a combination of tactical brilliance, raw determination, and the united strength of her diverse team, Captain Jones defeated the Arbiter and seized control of the superweapon. As news of the victory spread, purist forces across the galaxy began to crumble. Without their leader and their ultimate weapon, their movement collapsed, revealing itself to be built more on fear and intimidation than true strength. In the aftermath of the battle, as the galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief, Dr. Samantha Chen once again stood before the GCS's General Assembly. This time, instead of pleas for understanding or calls to action, she offered a vision for the future. "We have faced our greatest challenge and emerged stronger," she began. "Not as humans, not as individual species, but as a united galactic community. The purists sought to divide us, to isolate us in fear of our differences. Instead, they've shown us the power of our diversity. She paused, looking out over the assembled representatives of 100 worlds. Let this victory mark not an ending, but a beginning. A beginning of a new era of cooperation, of exploration, of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Together, we can face any challenge, overcome any obstacle. Her words were met with thunderous applause. The galaxy had changed. The fear and suspicion that had once greeted humanity's arrival on the galactic stage had been replaced by respect and admiration. In the years that followed, the influence of Earth and humanity spread farther and wider. The lessons learned from humanity's Deathworld were applied to colonizing planets once thought uninhabitable. The human spirit of exploration and innovation, combined with the knowledge and technologies of countless alien cultures, ushered in a golden age of discovery and progress. Marco Alvarez led expeditions to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, pushing the boundaries of known space. Vaxira became a renowned diplomat, bridging cultural divides and fostering understanding between vastly different species. And Captain Liara Jones, hailed as a hero across the Confederation, took command of a new generation of ships dedicated to protecting the peace they had fought so hard to achieve. As for Dr. Samantha Chen, she continued her work, ensuring that the voice of Earth was heard in galactic affairs. But more than that, she became a symbol of what humanity represented to the galaxy: resilience, adaptability, and an unyielding spirit of hope. The story of humanity's rise from a single deadly world to a central player on the galactic stage became legend. It was a reminder to all species that great strength can arise from great adversity, that diversity is not something to be feared, but celebrated, and that together, united in purpose, there is no challenge too great to overcome. And so, as the galaxy continued to expand and evolve, the legacy of Earth, the Deathworld that gave birth to a species of survivors, innovators, and dreamers, lived on. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars, it had helped reshape the very nature of galactic civilization, ushering in an era of unprecedented peace, progress, and possibility. The end of this chapter was just the beginning of a greater adventure, as humanity and its allies looked to the future, ready to face whatever new challenges the vast, unknown universe might hold.